Hey guys, thanks for joining once again. My name is Kyler Wilson.
I'm Monica Kasurik.
And this is another crazy episode of FilmRants. Wow. Back to you, fuckers.
Good job. Whoops.
Morgan Freeman.
Damn intern. Why already?
No, just give me one. Fuck. Yeah! So on today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Bruce Almighty. I know that may sound like kind of an odd movie for us to review, considering the things that we reviewed in the past, but bear with us, this is going to be a good one, I promise.
This movie made $484 million worldwide. So obviously they did something right.
I mean, that's a comedy. Think about that. $484 million worldwide. That's insane. Compared to some of the other movies that we've reviewed, anywhere from $200 million, like Inception, all the way up to, you know, $3 billion. $484 million is pretty insane, all things considered. So even after raking in a metric buck ton of money, this movie only rates 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I personally think is low. I think it was a lot better than 48%, but the critics didn't think so. So I'm kind of anxious to flush this one out. Monica, hit us with your 2-minute or less spoiler-free review.
A guy who complains about God is given the almighty powers to teach him how difficult it is to run the world. So,
little backstory on this one. I was sitting on the couch one day just watching Netflix, flipping through trying to find something to watch, and in one of the because you watch so-and-so categories, Bruce Almighty was there, and I was like, you know what, I haven't watched this movie since it came out back in like 2003. I'll go ahead and give it a watch, and I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm really happy that I did. You know, even though it's a total like cookie-cutter Hollywood comedy, there's some really cool things about it. It deals with the topic of the religion while not being a religious movie, and it doesn't shove religion down your throat in any way, shape, or form. But it does deal with the morals that God has on our lives. So, Monica, what'd you think?
I liked it. It was a surprising comedy. It was actually my first time watching it the other day, and I found it to be a cute little movie. There's some laughter here and there. It's a good comedy, especially for Jim Carrey. I always get a little underwhelmed by his movies because I feel like he's the same thing all the time. But it was pretty cool to see him as more of a normal dude and not a complete talking ass. As you know, they thought about doing a joke about it. You know they thought about it. But overall, it was just a cute movie just to watch. It had a good warm feeling. I liked it.
All in all, would you recommend it to a friend?
At least a view.
I mean, I'd definitely recommend it for at least a view. You know, I can't think of any reason why not to. It's a good, like I said, it's a good comedy. It's a well-built story. It's entertaining. The stuff they do in it's wacky and funny. You know, it's way better than Ace Ventura, I think, but you know, maybe sits somewhere in between like Ace Ventura and Liar Liar. I personally like Liar Liar. I don't know about you.
It's alright.
She didn't like Jim Carrey,
not
so
a big fan.
You know, what are you gonna do? But she liked Bruce Almighty, so there you go. She'd recommend it to a friend. I'd recommend it to a friend, at least for one view. Okay
guys, that was our spoiler-free portion. We're headed into our spoiler-full portion. If for some reason you haven't watched this movie, we're probably gonna ruin it for you if you continue to watch.
So, Bruce, aka Jim Carrey, is a field reporter at a news station in Buffalo. He's really been working for promotion to news anchor, but this dick cheese, Evan Baxter, aka Steve Carell, keeps holding him down. Bruce reaches his wit's end when the news station promotes Evan to news anchor behind Bruce's back, leaving Bruce to hang out and dry.
And we could think of no one better than our very own Evan Baxter.
Bruce says,
I'm Bruce Nolan for Eyewitness News. Back to you, fuckers.
And immediately gets fired.
That is perfect.
Bruce goes through this whole blaming God thing and gets into an argument with his girlfriend about how mediocre his life is, making her really sad in the process.
I'm not okay with a mediocre job. I'm not okay with a mediocre apartment. I'm not okay with a mediocre life.
So is that what you think that we have? A mediocre life?
Bruce gets paged a billion times, and for our younger audience, a pager is kind of like what text messaging is today. Showing my age. Anyways, Bruce gets a million pages and finally calls the number back where he hears this omniscient message telling him to come to a warehouse.
Denied that promotion at work? Is life unfair? Is there someone less talented than you reaping all the benefits? Is your name Bruce? Then do we have the job for you? We're located at 77256 23rd Street. So come on down, or we'll just keep beeping you.
He goes to the warehouse where he meets God, aka Morgan Freeman. He's decided that he wants to give Bruce his powers for a little while since he thinks he can do such a better job. So, Bruce gets to work fixing everything in his own life. He makes himself Mr. Exclusive and gets Steve Carell fired from the newsroom. He takes his girlfriend to dinner, which is set up to look suspiciously like a "I'm going to ask you to marry me" dinner, and instead says,
I got anchor.
Bruce starts hearing prayers from everyone in the city.
Stupid.
Wow, it's kind of loud
And
in
asks
here,
God
isn't
for
it?
help. God informs Bruce that,
Oh, those are prayers. And you keep ignoring them, they're going to build up on you like that.
so Bruce comes up with a filing system and starts answering everyone's prayers.
You've got prayers.
He decides that everyone should get what they want and answers
Yes. To all.
Bruce goes to a party celebrating his promotion and ends up sucking face with his co-anchor Susan Ortega. He gets busted by Grace, and she leaves him.
Grace!
He spends the rest of the film trying to win her back and doing good practical deeds around the city. He goes back to his prayer computer and starts spying on Grace. And we see her desperately begging God to help her not love Bruce anymore.
But I don't want to love him anymore.
Bruce is
I don't want to
floored.
hurt anymore. Please. Help me forget. Please help me let him go.
And he takes a walk down the road, begging God to take his powers back.
I don't want to be God. I want you to decide what's right for me. I surrender to your will.
And like anyone else that kneels down in the middle of the road. So Bruce dies and talks to God and becomes the martyr that says he only wants Grace to be happy, even if he isn't the guy that does so, and God agrees.
No.
Bruce wakes up in the hospital, and Grace is there. And they make up and get engaged, and Bruce goes back to field reporting like nothing ever happened.
There she is. Look at her!
"Well, isn't that about a bitch?"
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Let us take a look at Bruce and his character. He starts out a nice enough guy. We get shown that poor Bruce is just a regular guy who usually gets the short end of the stick, and he gets frustrated. Understandably so. But then he becomes God, and we get to see the blackness that actually lives in this man's heart. For example, he gets godlike powers and immediately sexually assaults this poor young girl.
And he saw that it was good.
Then he steals these clothes from some poor shop owners.
He takes vengeance on a group of thugs that beat him up earlier.
Apparently not affecting free will only applies to humans.
He brings the moon thousands of miles closer to the Earth, killing God knows how many people just so he can set the mood.
He forces his girlfriend to get breast augmentation without her even knowing that it's happened.
Please. They are definitely bigger. I mean, look, they feel huge to me.
He sends these news reporters to jail for God knows how many years by framing them with the possession of marijuana.
He makes a meteor hit right next to his hometown, killing God knows how much wildlife and endangering thousands of human souls.
Then he publicly humiliates a co-worker, which gets him fired in the process, so Bruce can take his job.
My tiny little nipples went to France.
Then he's so self-absorbed. He sets up this dinner that looks like he's going to propose to his beautiful, lovely, lovely girlfriend. And instead, it ends up just being a reason for him to gloat about getting a promotion.
Instead of doing the job God gave him to do, he takes the easy and the lazy way out.
Yes.
to all.
He sucks face with this whore.
In a last-ditch attempt to get Grace back, he actually tries to affect her free will.
Yeah, I'm drunk. Drunk with power. Love me.
I want you to keep in mind that this guy actually tries to enslave Jennifer Aniston's character, who he's treated like shit the entire film. Real stand-up guy.
Yeah, sure, he tries to make up for it by doing good deeds.
But that's like me picking up trash on the side of the road to make up for selling dope to a 5-year-old.
And once it is all said and done, God just fixes all things in Bruce's life.
This is one of the biggest assholes I've ever seen. If he were born a few thousand years ago, he'd probably look like this. But God is just like,
well, I think you learned your lesson, so let me fix all your fuck-ups as well as fix everything else bad in your life.
It's good. It's good.
What the fuck? Hey guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Catch us again, same time next week.
Like and subscribe below, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter.
Make sure you check out our new show called Trailer Trash as well. It's pretty fun. Bing bam boom. What'd you think of Bruce Almighty? S-H-E, she.
Instead of doing the job, gave God blah 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 blah. I don't get it.
Fucking trains.
You got that. The earth, to the moon, to the moon, to the earth, to the... Okay. He eventually blew the bullets out. Well, darling. To the store. Maybe if I flip-flop how I'm flipping them.